Hi, everyone. Welcome to our second to last Lunch and Learn. We have one more next week, so make sure that you listen to the recording or join us live. It's really fun to be on live together, just taking a few minutes in the middle of our day to learn from one another and encourage each other. I'm super excited about sharing today short and simple, but really powerful things that have changed my life. Today, we're going to talk about it's the holidays and gratitude. And I love the fact that when the holidays come, we're just in a different frame of mind and we're about giving thanks. We've just come off of Thanksgiving here in the United States, where it's entire holiday dedicated to giving thanks, being thankful, having gratitude. Then we roll right into the holiday, to the Christmas, the Hanukkah, the holiday season. And we are just in the spirit of giving and gratitude and thankfulness. And one of the most profound things for me has been to try really hard to carry that out throughout the rest of the year. How many times have you gotten to the holiday season and you're like, I just feel different in my heart. You just feel more open, or maybe if you have more like that, you're just more thankful for everything. And you just appreciate moments with friends and family and creating memories. And I remember one Christmas, I was like, Christmas had ended, and I'm like, I hate when Christmas ends, because then it's just, I kind of leaves like, kind of just leaves you with this feeling. How do I continue that all year round? And so that's sort of what prompted me to start thinking about this. But also, for those of you that don't know, when I was 34 years old, my husband was diagnosed out of the blue with stage 4 metastatic colon cancer, and then passed away 10 months later when I was only 35. And my world kind of fell apart. And part of what I learned during that time, and what I now teach my grief clients, and those of you who are my health and wellness clients, is that it's gratitude that allowed me to change my perspective in the midst of the most horrible time in my life, to still be able to see the good in life. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is that we really believe in being healthy, mind, body, soul. And in order to do that, we believe here, and I believe with all my heart, and I speak about this, I teach about this, that gratitude is one of the key components to that. And I know it sounds so simple, like really like, okay, well, I'm a thankful person. I love that. But I think what happens is that it's often easy to be thankful when things are going good. What happens when things are not and life is challenging? Then do we have such a thankful, grateful heart? And what I want to challenge us is that, have you ever read the book, Craig Rochelle? It's called Winning the War on Your Mind. And he talks a lot about in that book about, we have neuropaths in our brain. Okay, so I'm not going to get too science. This is the kind of stuff I love. But we, by life, have created, the way we think and the experiences that we have created neuropaths in our brain that make us think the way we do, our internal thoughts. So you'll hear in our groups, you'll hear from your coach, my clients will hear from me, our internal dialogue matters. What we teach, or what we say to ourselves, what we think, what we believe. And that's all been formed. And those are neuropaths that have been formed in our brain. We know that, science has told us that. And what happens when we kind of get hit over and over and over and over again? We kind of forget to be grateful, because we become programmed to see kind of the negative side of things. Have you ever heard of the red car syndrome? All of a sudden, or the new car syndrome, but we call it the red car syndrome. If you bought a red car, or you're thinking about buying a red car, as soon as you make the decision, or you're thinking about buying a new car or a red car, or you have a red car, you start to see red cars everywhere you go. Before that, maybe you didn't notice all of them, but your brain has begun to be programmed to see red cars. Same thing with a new car. If you're thinking about getting a new car, whatever car you choose, all of a sudden you'll see it on the road all the time. It's really crazy, and it's really powerful. What I want to do and teach my clients to do is kind of tap into that. We may be programmed to heartache. We may have had really rough times in our life. Things may be going on right now that aren't really great for you. It's the holiday season. It's supposed to be happy. Yes, you have gratitude, but then what happens when the holidays are over? Or maybe, like for me at a certain time in my life, and for many of my clients, the holidays are a really hard time. And it's really hard to feel grateful and really genuinely deep in our soul happy, because we miss the person that we love and lost. And so part of what we do, whether you've lost someone or not, establishing a habit and a new train of thought that focuses on gratitude can absolutely change your life. So the answer is yes. Something as simple as incorporating daily gratitude can literally change your life by changing your heart and your mind and your soul. So we know first and foremost that gratitude is a mindset. So we talk a lot about in our groups mindset. Mindset is everything. You have to decide, okay, new car, red car syndrome, I'm going to choose to be grateful. And how do we do that? Well, I say start your day with gratitude. That's the simplest, easiest thing to do. What I do every single day and what I teach my clients to do is we are committed in our groups to eat healthy, to drink our Shakeology or our performance line, whatever, and to work out or to move our body. Okay. We are committed to that. We make a commitment to that. We show up every day to do that when we're in our groups. I want to encourage you during this season to show up every day for your heart and your mind and your soul by choosing gratitude every day. So part of my morning routine is that I get up every morning before I even get out of bed. I pull out my pink gratitude journal. My kids got me a gratitude journal for Mother's Day because they know this is such an important part of my life. And they had it engraved and all sorts of cool things because they know how important it is to me. And I've taught them to do the same thing. And I do my reading in the morning and my prayer time. And then I write 5 things I'm thankful for in my gratitude journal every single day. Why do I do that? Because we know that what we think about, we produce in our life. So if we're thinking about gratitude, if we're thinking about the things we're grateful for, if we're on the lookout for things that we're grateful for, then we will find more things that we're grateful for. So I think the most important thing to do is start your day with a grateful heart. It completely shifts your mindset to looking for all the positive things in your life, all the things you do have, all the things you have been blessed with, as opposed to what you don't have or how bad things are going. And I know that people will say, well, that's kind of a Pollyanna attitude. I get it, but I can speak from experience of, and I don't mean to be harsh here, but losing my husband, becoming a widow and single mom, all the horrific things I had to go through from that and in regards to that. And if I can choose, because it's a choice, it doesn't just happen naturally because life is so perfect and goes well for you. If I can choose to do that because I make a commitment and I don't want to live in misery every day of my life, if I can choose, it becomes more natural the more you do it. So that's where the hope and the encouragement is that just as you have to build your muscles by working out and get stronger, you have to build your gratitude muscles by doing it every day, a little bit at a time. So one of the issues that some of my clients will be like, Kendra, I sat for 5 days and did my gratitude journal and I could come up with one thing a day. And I'm like, okay, what was that one thing? And they're like, I'm grateful for hot coffee. Right on. If you are grateful for hot coffee, maybe your coffee wasn't even hot because maybe you have a little kid, a little toddler, like I had, where I'd start a cup of coffee and 4 hours later, I'd be like, oh yeah, there's my cold cup of coffee now. Maybe you don't even get that. But maybe if you can find one thing, like I have a soft pillow, I had a blanket. Even if you start super small, if you commit to doing, to focusing on gratitude in the morning before you even start your day, I promise you, and you commit for 30 days, I promise you by the 30th day, you will have more than one thing to be thankful for because you have programmed your brain to see things and to experience things differently. Number 2, keep it super simple. And it can be things like, sometimes it can be that. It can be coffee. I have a blanket. My kid smiled today. My kid didn't tell me off today. Whatever. It can be simple as that. It can be really great. I have food on my table. It can be, and somebody said to me, one of my clients one time said, that sounds so superficial. I said, again, remember you're building a new neural path. You're retraining your brain to see things differently. It's okay if it's not this deep, heartfelt, really gushy thing. I promise you, those deep moments where you're so full of gratitude at the very core of who you are, those will come with time. Start simple. Build a routine. We're creating new neural paths. And the most important thing is that you can decide right now when you get off this call to choose to be grateful, even if life isn't good. If this is not this choice, choosing gratitude, especially at this time of year and as we head into the new year when there's not a lot of holidays and special things going on. I like to say this: being alive, because of what I've been through, every single day we get to be alive. That is reason to celebrate. Don't wait for a special occasion. Don't wait for super exciting anniversary. The fact that you are alive today gives you reason to celebrate and be grateful. There are times when I will open a bottle of champagne because it's a Thursday and I'm like, I'm happy to be alive. And why in the world would I wait for New Year's Eve or for the weekend or for a special evening to celebrate being alive? So I want to challenge you to switch your thinking to that, and you'll just find more joy in each and every one of your days. So that's all I want to talk about today, because our time is just about up. Ladies, do any of you have questions, or do any of your clients have questions? Tracy.
Yeah. So do you make it a point to, like, right when your alarm goes off, do you start being grateful, or do you cue it with another habit that you do? Obviously, we all wake up in the morning. I mean, that's just a natural habit that happens, right? But do you recommend people doing it first thing in the morning, or do you recommend doing it just commit to a certain time?
I'm a big believer in that there is not just one way to do it, because everyone's brain works differently. My brain, when I get going in the day, I get busy and then I forget. So I'm just being honest. So for me, I program my brain that before I get out of bed. So I literally have water next to my bed. And I know you're supposed to I really encourage people, drink. You've been dehydrated all night long. Get up and drink 8 to 10 ounces of water in the morning. So I have my water beside my bed. I sit up in my bed when my alarm goes off. I grab my water. I start drinking and I pray, because I'm still kind of asleep a little bit. But then I pray and I do my reading. And then I grab my gratitude journal, which is right next to my bed. And I write my things before I even get out of bed. Because if I get out of bed, then my dog wakes up, then my husband needs coffee, then this, then that, and then the day has started. And then I feel like I'm doing this. Oh, I got to write in my gratitude journal, because it's a check off my to-do list, instead of it's a heart issue for me to have my heart and mind and soul be as healthy as it can. But some people, they need time to wake up in the morning, and then they need to go to their space and do it when their brain is thinking. But it's about intentional living, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Great question.
I'm reading, because I knew that they would ask that, and I'm reading this book right now, Atomic Habits. And one of the things I just read last night, and it made me think exactly what you were saying, the whole neuropath stuff. Like, I geek out on that stuff too.
I love it.
It's called habit stacking. And so whenever you want to develop a new habit, stack it with something that's already a habit for you. Like, what is something that's just automatic? So it could be coffee in the morning. So that's your cue to do this new habit. When I have this, I will do that.
Love it.
You know, so that was something where I'm like, oh, that could be good. Because I remember starting doing the gratitude thing right in the morning with my journal, and it just it didn't continue, but I wanted to, because when I found that when we did do that challenge, it became easier to be grateful throughout the day.
Yes, Tracy, so well said.
And so that's when it can feel like we're practicing this new behavior, and it may feel a little bit inauthentic, but again, it's like you said, we are developing these new pathways. So when it does happen, like maybe you're sitting on the couch and you just had this like moment that came into you internally, and so often we don't share it. But then if we do share it, because we're practicing being more grateful, then it's easier for us to then share it. It just
love it.
Yeah, that's when it kind of that's when life, it just expands on itself, because not only are you feeling grateful, you're sharing gratefulness, and then that person feels good. And it's a ripple effect
too. And I don't know if you covered it, Kendra. Sorry for the sound of my voice, but when I started my practice, I started looking for things, and I took this from, I think it was Rachel Hollis, to look for things in the past 24 hours. And it helped to simplify it for me, because it can become overwhelming, It was for me in the beginning, but
Yep.
that's what helped me.
I love that. That's a great way to start. Just write down things that are from the last 24 hours. I love that. That is great. Well, throughout these lunch and learns, we want to be really considerate of your time and be consistent on sticking to the time that we said, because we know you're busy. So for those of you who are on live, awesome. Thank you. For those of you who have work or whatever that kept you from being on live, thank you for watching the recording. We are going to say goodbye because it's 2:20 and it's 20 minutes after, and we are good to go. So thank you. Know that we as coaches are so thankful for all of you, and we appreciate your commitment to working with us and your health and wellness. So have a great day. See y'all next week.